strict parenting totally backfire. My mother required a minute-by-minute schedule from me every morning. If I wrote eating lunch 12 to 12:30, but she called at 12:15 and I was still walking to the cafeteria, I'd be locked in my room for lying about my whereabouts. It ended up ruining both our lives. My mother had always been controlling, but it got worse after my older sister ran away at 17. Mom blamed herself for not knowing exactly where my sister was every second. She started calling me every hour, then every half hour. She'd quiz me on who I was with and demand to speak to them. She recruited my teachers as spies and my friends' parents as informants. She'd show up randomly at school, the mall, wherever I said I'd be. But when I turned 14, she decided check-ins weren't enough. She needed complete documentation of my life, planned in advance, to make sure I could never leave her like my sister did. So Mom introduced the daily itinerary system at breakfast. I had to submit written schedules each morning detailing every minute of my upcoming day. 7:03 to 7:07, brush teeth. 7:07 to 7:09, get dressed. 7:09 to 7:12, walk to bus stop. Any gaps were unacceptable. She wanted to know every hallway I'd walk down, every person I talked to, how many minutes each homework assignment would take. She'd review them with a red pen, questioning unrealistic time estimates. If I was even 2 minutes off schedule when she called to verify, I was a liar who couldn't be trusted. She said this was the only way to keep me safe from becoming like my sister. The whole thing was suffocating. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. just to write out my schedule in enough detail to satisfy Mom. Every bathroom break had to be pre-planned, every conversation pre-approved. I had to estimate how long it would take to walk between classes and factor in crowded hallways. Mom's verification calls were random and relentless. If my itinerary said math class 10:15 to 11 and she called at 10:47 demanding to speak to my teacher, God forbid I'd stepped out of class to fill up my water bottle. She'd recruited an army of volunteers to help track me. The school librarian would text her when I arrived. The bus driver confirmed pickup times. She paid kids $5 to report any deviations from my submitted schedule. The punishments for being off schedule were severe. 2 minutes late to lunch meant locked in my room for the weekend. Being in the wrong hallway meant losing phone privileges for a month. One time our bus got caught in traffic on the way home from a field trip, and Mom cut my meals in half for a week to teach me a lesson. She'd make me rewrite my itineraries dozens of times as punishment if one of mine was off, adding more detail until they were novellas describing every breath I'd take. Friends would invite me to hang out, and I'd have to decline because it wasn't on my morning itinerary. I couldn't take a different route home on a nice day. I couldn't stay after class to ask a teacher a question. Every second was pre-planned and monitored. I started feeling like a robot executing code rather than a human living life. But one amazing day, the cafeteria lady mentioned she only got $5 per report. I offered her $10 to say I was there when I wasn't. She agreed immediately. Turns out, none of Mom's doors were getting paid all that much, and it wasn't impossible for me to outbid her on all of them. Within a week, I'd turned Mom's network into my own protection system. The librarian cost $20 per week to ignore my absences. The bus driver took $15 to confirm fake pickup times. Even the kids Mom paid to watch me would take $10 to look the other way. I used birthday money, lunch money, anything I could scrape together. For a month, I bought myself freedom. My submitted itineraries became complete fiction, while Mom's spies confirmed every lie. I joined drama club, ate lunch off campus, even went to a movie after school. The monitors would text Mom exactly what I told them she wanted to hear while I lived my life. I thought I'd beaten her system by turning her own weapons against her. Mom discovered my deception when she decided to personally verify my chemistry tutoring. She showed up at school at 4:15 p.m. and found the room empty while I was actually at the mall. Her explosion was nuclear. She hired a professional private investigator to follow me and compare my actual activities to my submitted itineraries. Every lie was documented with photos and timestamps. She made me wear a GPS tracker locked around my ankle. My itineraries now had to include GPS coordinates for each location. She installed tracking apps on my phone that reported my location every 30 seconds. She recruited more spies, paying them way more than I could afford to pay for photographic evidence of my activities. My schedules became even more detailed. Instead of walk to class, I had to write exit room 201, turn left, walk 47 steps down B hallway, turn right, climb 14 stairs, enter room 302. She'd watch the GPS to ensure I took the exact route. One deviation meant starting over with even more restrictions. But my freedom came when Mom's tracking obsession finally backfired. She was so busy monitoring my GPS coordinates that she crashed her car into a telephone pole while driving and watching my dot move on her phone. When police investigated, they found hundreds of photos the private investigator had taken of me and other kids at school. Child services got involved when they discovered the ankle monitor and the thousands of pages of itineraries. I was placed with my sister, and my mom has permanent spinal damage and gets supervised visits only on my schedule.